I met Maynard through a friend from high school, and we started Tool. We started just jamming and not really taking the band scene seriously, just playing for a hobby or as just a release of having a side. You know, I had a job, he had a job, and then we started kind of...
He moved in next door to me, and I got sucked in.
Right. We used to go see Green Jello, which Danny was in. Danny was in about 5 or 6 different music projects at that time, and from playing like with Carole King to being in Pygmy Love Circus and a television warm-up band and kind of a jazz prog rock band, you know, with some of his friends, and then did I say Green Jello? And we kept kind of asking him to jam with us, and he didn't want to. And then we actually had a chance to play with the drummer from Autograph, and he didn't show up, so Dan came down and filled in and worked out.
And I was hooked.
Yeah.
There you go.
There was maybe a year and a half, 2 years of touring after Anima, and then a bunch of business to sort out and kind of get back into the right headspace to be creative again. And then just really it was a question of letting everything breathe, you know, letting all the ideas come out in the best way, and that's, you know, that takes a little bit of patience.
We're truly an alternative band. All the bands that seem to be labeled as alternative that I see are not alternative to anything. They're all doing the same thing. They're playing formulas and marketing themselves in formula type ways. And you know, if you want to hear something different, then you can listen to Tool, because we play 8 or 9 minute songs, and it just comes from a different approach. You know, it's about the music rather than about selling a little piece of product to the people. You know. That's what it's about.
I think Maynard said it best, where he said, you know, a lot of the other bands are like commercials, and we're kind of like a feature film. So buy our album and buy some popcorn.
Yeah.
We've never really left each other. You know, we're all pretty much neighbors for the most part, so we see each other quite a bit. It was more a matter of remembering what our priorities were. You know, we get so involved in these lawsuits and record company stuff that you forget, you know, why you're here. And so when we get back into the room and just start playing music, you go, oh yeah, that's what I was doing here. That's why, you know, that's what we do. Because, you know, after a while, there's so many hands out trying to, you know, take your hard-earned money, and which in the record industry, by the way, you don't make as much as people would think you do. You end up having to like be a businessman and defending yourself, and you know, trying to keep what's yours, and it makes it very difficult. So when you finally get that done, you're exhausted, and you almost don't want to go back in the studio. But then when you actually do it, you're like, oh yeah, this is what we do. This is why we do it. Makes it worth it. It's going to be tough, especially to really get people to take a moment, find a quiet space, and really get into this record, because everybody pretty much has been writing commercials for the last few years, and it's it's understandable. There hasn't been a lot happening in the last 4 or 5 years that these kind of no talent people kind of showed up, filled in the spaces pretty much. So hopefully the public isn't so far gone, so beyond hope that they won't be able to find that space to just kind of sink their teeth into it.
Well, I think there's a large percentage of people that are still really frustrated by how disposable a lot of art and music has become, and they're really hungry for something they can sink their teeth into again, But I think a lot of time those people you know, because they're somewhat maybe of a minority, that their voice isn't heard, and a lot of time they aren't stupid enough just to go out and blab all over in the places where they would be heard, you know. But I know the response has been incredible for our band, you know, just the anticipation of this record. It's enough to let us know that we're still doing the right thing, staying true to ourselves. I think it'll work out fine.